Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.
Roll it there, Roisin.
Okay, hey, how well you said that night back in the late. They got me back. They got
I
me back.
saw.
Oh, hey.
You were with the turncoat from Michael Collins.
Well, he was kind of an undercover fella. He was Boyd, was his name. Stephen Ray, Academy
Yes.
Award nominated. I didn't know he was Academy Award nominated. Golden
For
Globe
what
winning.
film?
I don't know. Somebody said it to me and I went, class, Jesus, he's done it all. And I talked with him for about 5 minutes in the corridor because I was done and he was kind of waiting around, being a very nice man. And we were nattering away and I went, here, did you ever, when you're reading the script day one for the Crying Game, did you expect a Mickey? And he went, I didn't. It was a surprise. He said, I knew something was arriving down the line. He says, but they kind of thought it'd be an interesting take to see how I would fare while reading the script. And I thought it was very interesting. I went, well, there we go. That answers my question. Great. Great to know. Great to know. Welcome everybody to the podcast.
Oh yes, the podcast. Yeah.
You see,
Hello,
you caught me with the
everyone.
roll at Roisin. I went, Jesus Christ, I have to get on this. So yeah. Yeah, so that was, yes. Well, more importantly, how are you keeping? You all right? You look great. You look like,
Do I?
last week now you looked like a woman you were on an edge. Like I'd say somebody who could get a bollocking last week. You kind of had that twitch in your eye, like, I'll tell you now.
Oh yeah. Because last week was the shit show, literally,
Yeah.
because my toilet had exploded. So that was a Tuesday. On the Wednesday, I was like, and I'd also been a bit sick the week before, but I was feeling good. And after the stress of the toilet and just loads of other shite going wrong and going on, last Wednesday I woke up and was like, right, my luck is changing now. I can feel it. My luck
Yes.
is going to change. It was lovely. I had a few kind of errands to run, so I was going around on my bike, and there was fellas cutting the lawn,
Oh,
and
lovely. Yes.
the first smell of cut grass every year
Oh,
just gets me.
yeah.
Physically, I can feel something,
Spring.
and like
Spring.
absolutely, and the air had started to get a bit warmer, and I was like fucking flying around on my bike, cycling along by the thing, and I was like, do you know what? Yes, this is good now. It's good. There's good luck on my way. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to go to the gym a bit earlier than usual. So I was on my own in the gym. Usually there's a few other people around, but I had the place to myself. And like whenever I have my music on in the gym, I'm always so paranoid that other people aren't enjoying it. So I can't enjoy my own music in the gym. So there was no one else there. I had my music on. I was
So
bopping
what have
away.
you got the Bluetooth speaker, or are you listening straight in your ears?
No, there's a Bluetooth speaker in the gym, and like people connect to it. Whoever comes in, whoever's there first will kind of connect to it
So
and
get me in
just
the
play.
vibe. What are we talking? What are we talking? Fucking, are we going
I
straight
know.
90s fucking dance classics?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. 90s, which see the young ones wouldn't really enjoy too much, if there was a group of us there.
Yeah.
90s, what can I have on?
I'd have Aqua.
Um,
Aqua would get me going even. I don't care.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't as poppy
Yes.
as Aqua. But you know what? One of my favorite songs in the world is Geronimo by Shepherd.
Yeah.
Do you know that song?
Class.
Because that
Class.
song was stuck in my head for about 2 years before I realized what it was. So, and the moment I realized what it was just one of the best moments ever.
Do you
So,
do you align certain? Do you go, oh fuck, I'm it's bench, it's chest. I'm getting under the bench. Is there a certain tune you go, here we go? Are we
no,
talking? No.
no, I don't, because I don't like to kind of wear songs out then, do you know?
I do
And
that
I like,
terrible. I do. I'm a
yeah,
sucker for that. You're so right. Yeah.
yeah. I see. And I like being surprised by songs, and
Yeah.
sometimes I like even like chilled stuff will get me kind of in the mood. And then
Mm.
sometimes, good beat and stuff. But I had Geronimo on anyway, and I was flying through. And by this stage, actually, there was the basketballers. There's a big basketball team here in La Rochelle as well, and they wear the exact same kit as the rugby players, but they're all like twice the size. So you can tell which ones are the basketball players. So there's a basketball player in the gym, and just said hello to him, whatever. And I was on my last set of a fucking hex bar deadlift,
Yeah.
and my back went.
No. No.
Same exact same thing happened the week of the Scotland game actually last year.
Oh no.
Um, and I literally just went, "Ah!" and like
Fuck.
fell over like an armadillo. And your man was like, "Oh my god, like, are you okay?" Like, "Oh my god, like, can I help?" And I was just like, "No, I'm fine, I'm fine." And I couldn't move, could barely stand up, was like, like trying to move like a pregnant woman, like a woman going into labor. And yeah, basically can't train, couldn't play the match the weekend. Um, walking like walking
Like you just
like
got to kick up the hole. Yeah.
literally like Mrs. Doubtfire or something. Yeah. So
So, and what
as
is it?
much
What is it that's moving? Like, is it a muscle that just keeps giving way,
that
or what?
spasm, yeah. Just I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it came from a bit of like fatigue from the week before. Like it
Mm.
wasn't even that heavy, and the reps were quite low as well. What I was doing, same as last time. What I lifted the last time wasn't heavy at all, and it still put my back into spasm. But like, it's not that normal that it should keep happening. But I was a bit fatigued. My back from the fucking bed I'm sleeping on here
I was
isn't.
just gonna say that shit in bed you be fucking sleeping. I'm sure isn't helping your
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. No, that's definitely like not helping. So, but like I'd have a tight back a lot of the time. I need to do an awful lot of mobility on it, an awful lot of glute activation, a lot of core work.
Mm.
And the annoying thing is I've been focusing on it because I could feel it wasn't as strong as it usually was. I've been fucking working on my glutes and core like a lot now. Even just since Christmas, I was kind of ramped it up. So I'm pissed off that this has happened again. So anyway, that was the end of my luck for the short few hours that I
As you
thought
lay
we
there on the on the padded floor, like just going, I can still smell grass coming in the window though, lads. I can still smell
had. I wish I had picked up a clump of the grass so I could be like smelling it while I was, yeah.
Then you
And
know,
I
uh,
because there was, oh sorry,
as I was just thinking, other deadlifters use. Sorry for cutting you across.
no,
Just
no,
think,
go on.
see you like chalking up your hands, going, ah, right, ready to fucking deadlift this animal of a lift. Other like you see those strong men like taking smelling salts. Oh,
Oh
and it
yeah, I
reaches
have
into their pocket for a fish to grass.
fish to grass. And there'd be bits hanging off your lips, like when you're lifting, like,
Nobody's.
"Ah!" And
I tell
like
you
the
what,
bar has only like 50 kgs on it.
but nobody's fucking mentioning your music if you're that psycho in the corner of the gym with your hood
I
up and
was
your sunglasses on, just sniffing grass, going, okay,
I was
leave Anna
just
to it.
sad. Yeah, I know. I was just sad that I hurt myself while my favorite song was on.
Oh shit.
Like literally, I didn't even make it to the end of the song. But I text my coach then. I was like, "Are you here? I need some help." And he was like, he replied being like, Yes." He was like, "Are you stuck under a bar? Ha ha." And then like he arrived down, and I was just dead on the floor, like staring up at him, and he was staring down at me. He's like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry." And then I met a friend of mine, who's married to one of the pro players. And I was telling her about it. She was like, "Yeah, I heard they were talking about it.
No.
They were talking about it. They said, oh, some female players after hurting herself down in the gym because our physios weren't there at the time. So the basketball player, shout out to Luca, he listens every week.
Good.
he he like ran to get one of the physios like that was on site, and that was one of the men's pro physios. So he was obviously went back up being like, Jesus, there's this owl one down in the gym is after fucking doing her back in. So they said to my friend, she was like, "Yeah, I heard."
I think she might be on drugs. There's grass green all over her teeth. I don't know what's after.
She's sniffing grass.
I just imagine this giant, tall, like Gulliver reaching down, or the BFG just reaching down with these giant long hands and just picking you up and going, "Excuse me, madam."
Who, the basketball
Yeah,
player?
because they're all giraffes, all them fellas. Like they tend to be like over 6'6" or something.
I know, but they're skinny. You know,
That's what I mean, like the BFG. Just long, skinny, spindly arms. Don't look at me like you don't know
yeah.
what the BFG is.
No, I
Don't
know,
you?
I know.
Oh, good.
I
Oh,
actually,
Jesus.
I didn't have a skinny image of the BFG in my head.
Oh, well, the Roald Dahl one. Yeah, he was quite spindly, I think.
According to Quentin Blake, anyway.
Yeah, and the guy they had in the movie as well. He was brilliant.
Oh God, I didn't see the movie.
Oh, you'll love it. Oh, you'll love it.
Okay, another. Okay,
I
yeah.
will. I'll send you on a link because we found it only the other day for himself because he's getting into Roald Dahl, and I found a link for it, so I'll send it on to you.
Roald Dahl is unreal for kids.
Un-
It's scary though. It's
it is.
scary.
It is, but they kind of. Do you know what? There's no harm in a small bit of that too. Like,
Yes.
the witches is a bit heavy. We won't. We won't go with the witches. Although I say
No,
that.
witches. You have to be a certain age for the witches. I'd say your fella's still a bit small for the
He is.
witches.
He's only 4, like, but it'll be a bit heavy. Like in the moment, he'd be like class, but you know full well he'd go to sleep that night and his head would explode. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Yeah, I know. But apart from that, I actually had a good weekend.
good, great. This is the peaks and troughs already out the gap.
Yeah, I actually made people I was in the pub with yesterday play Peak and Pit. They were like, "What? What's this?" I was like, "You've just say
You've never listened to the
your best
podcast.
moment,
You
your lowest
fucking sure.
moment." Like, yeah, I do not listen to Banana and Bears Rugby Pod, but I went into like see the physio then on Friday. Like I couldn't train, just doing mobility, and then on the way home, thankfully I can ride my bike. If I stand on a curb, I could get on and off my bike. So I was still able to get over and back from training on the bike, and the bike actually helps my back. So I went into McNulty's then on the way home to watch the Munster game.
Yes.
And had great crack. So
By the
met a
way,
lovely.
a listener to the podcast, I need to send you on how to do this too. He literally wrote it out for me because I'm a tech idiot when it comes to these things on
Go on.
how to secure a VPN. So
Yes.
yes, he told me how to. I've heard of these things. I actually interviewed somebody who was in China, and they're not really allowed to talk to us outsiders through Zoom. So she had to do
Hey.
it via
Oh.
France, a VPN France. So she said this to me, and I kind of went, "All right." And I'd heard of these things, but it'll allow you to find any. You can watch TG Car again, like you can watch, you can watch anything through it.
Where is free?
Yeah,
I
but I
can watch.
don't. Can you watch
Yeah.
it in France?
I actually haven't tried it yet, but when I was at the Irish night in Leon, he was like, "Yeah, you can watch TG Car from anywhere."
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
But like you say, again, RTE you can't like everything. No, I know I've looked into VPN so many times and I've never like chosen one and just gone with it. So it is something that I need to just nail down and
Mm,
get good at using a VPN because I'm always obviously like fucking gallivanting. So
exactly, gallivanting.
yeah.
Well, it's good. I'm glad that you. And how does the back feel now, sitting there looking at me? How does the back feel?
It's
Can
actually not great.
Is it not?
The last time I did it, it was way worse initially and improved way quicker. It wasn't as bad initially this time, but it's taken longer to improve. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on, but just needs a bit of time. It's all right. We've holidays this week, so it's a good week to kind of just stay on the bike and keep moving. And I've no school either this week, so I'm on holidays this week. I'm going to London this weekend, so
Yes, yes, yes,
great.
yes, yes. Brilliant.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
yeah, I did something. I think mine might have been completely. Well, it definitely was non sporting, but like yeah, not Saturday gone, the Saturday beforehand. I just woke up, and I think it was kind of said to me by somebody who'd know a lot about. It was actually they're a kind of a physio I met only the other night at a corporate, and she said, "Oh yeah." I said, then I went away and it exactly twanged the left hand side of my lower back. Just
Oh
woke up
yeah,
in fucking ribbons. Couldn't
yeah,
walk in sideways like a crab. I said,
yeah.
"Well, did you do anything?" I don't think I exerted. I said I was doing a bit of buildy work, but I said nothing. There was nothing. It didn't hit me at the time. Could be that,
Mm.
but also she goes, "How much do you work?" I went, "About 100 hours a week." She went, "That was probably it. You're just fatigued, and the
Mm.
first thing to go is your back." I
Yeah,
went, "Oh." Well, that makes, she goes, you're outside of your shoulders and your back. They're normally the
yeah,
ones that people come in wrecked just from nothing at all. Things
yeah.
that could normally. So you could have fucked yourself up just picking beans up off the ground. You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like but that when I was listening to Jerry, you reminded me of two things. First thing was, um, Phoebe from Friends? She used to like
Yes.
arguing with Ross about like evolution. And then he says something about gravity, and she's like, "Don't get me started on gravity." And he was like, what do you mean? Like, you don't believe in gravity? And she's like, I don't feel like, I'm being pulled down as opposed to pushed. She's like, I just feel like I'm being pushed down. So actually, no, I don't believe in gravity. So it's like, that's exactly what happens when you're working so hard, you're just being pushed into the ground. Yeah, no wonder your fucking back goes.
Yeah, that's
The
great.
other
What
thing,
a great argument. Who wrote that? That's a
yeah,
fucking
I
brilliant.
know.
Oh
So
wow,
good.
that
And
is so
Phoebe, just
good.
the way she delivers it, I fucking love her.
Oh,
The other thing you reminded me of there was that, oh yeah, I'll actually send it to you. I'll put it on my story. There's this uh a fella taking the make out of a physio.
right.
And the physio, like, a fella comes in and he's like, right, okay, oh, you've a sore back, okay, okay, stand up there. Oh, you're standing wrong. You're standing wrong. That's your
Oh,
first problem. Just walk across there. Oh, yeah, you're walking wrong. Yeah, yeah. What do you do for work? Oh, you're in an office. Oh, sure, no good. Sure, you're sitting down all day. Like, oh, you're a builder. Oh, you're standing up all day. No, no, no good, no good, no. So like, literally nothing you do, like, genuinely nothing you do fucking helps unless you're doing exercises like to release and mobilize your back. You're bollocks. I don't
yeah.
know how people who don't exercise like survive.
Listen, it's them. I don't know. Unless they're going through unless they've just turned gelatinous to a degree, and it's just like, do you remember that ad for softies years ago? Oh, Mr. Soft, you have to tell me why the world, and the whole thing was like a fabric world he was walking in, and everything was soft as he walked. And I just wonder if that's what happens to people's bodies. They become gelatinous, and they just kind of slink through life like without anything. But it's got to catch up with everybody. I'm guessing it just catches up with everybody.
But
I I
yeah,
I
people
don't
don't
know.
know
It's
what to do.
I'm old. That's all I know anyway. Old, breaking down.
Yeah,
You're not old yet. You're not old
I'm
yet.
getting I'm getting there.
But look it.
But I'm only as young as I feel, which
Exactly.
is only being able to walk at a certain degree angle. To be fair, it's actually awful. They were trying not to laugh at me inside in the office, and then they were like, "Oh, you're walking like someone else in the office who can't walk straight." And I was just like, "Well, you fucking continue like that, you'll be walking like him as well." So at least I'm the butt of some jokes, and they all enjoyed laughing at me. So at least everyone else enjoyed themselves.
Good. Well, look. Yeah, look at. I mean, welcome to my world. That's literally what I do. It's
Yes.
but I was in. You're right. I was in the late on Friday night. I'm back there for a couple of more, and it was Stephen Ray and a very interesting. I don't know. Have you how in touch you are with the politics of Northern Ireland? But the first ever Republican First Minister Michelle O'Neill was there.
Yes.
Um,
Oh wow.
Great talker. Like, and I think guilty who I get on with, and I thought he'd kind of kiss up to her a small bit because I don't know, naively I thought they would be kind of fucking off the same side of the hurley. They kind
Yeah.
of went after her a little bit for one reason or another. I don't know. I think he was just trying to put her under pressure a small little bit, and
Oh,
I not in a nasty way, but just kind of pushing, throwing questions at her that were a bit late, if you know what I mean. They were a bit more, yeah, a
really?
bit more Miriam McCallaghan kind of, if you know what I mean. Bit, ooh, that one would squeeze a small bit, like, yeah.
Yes, but that hasn't, as far as I'm aware, hasn't been his style up to
No,
now.
it has not. It has not. But and he, he could be a bit lovey-dovey with some of the naughty people that are up to, but he was, in fairness, he put it to her a few times, like, and very, very interesting, like, to see, like, I mean, a fucking machine, how she was answering, like, just brilliant answers, but like,
Really?
was not going to be deflected. Like, this
Yeah.
woman, you wouldn't mind her being your boss now if you were all really into the job. If you know what I mean, you
Yeah.
go, fuck it, I'm following Michelle because I'm fair into this job. Do you
Yeah.
know? Now, if I wasn't into this job, I fucking really wouldn't want her to be my boss because she would fucking run you over like a
Shitting
truck.
on you. Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
she just was quite an inspiration. And do you know what? Do you know what? Anna, I'm making a documentation, and I will show it to you privately someday, of all the people I've shaken hands with, and I rate their handshake. And you'd be surprised.
Excellent.
You'd be surprised. Handshake, and some people go for a bit of a hug. Incredible the lack of human that you'd sometimes think is inside the jacket that you're hugging. You're like, oh, it's like holding an old woman. Do you know what I mean? When it's what looks like, a formidable man and stuff. And handshakes is like a bag of wet sausages. you know, and sometimes, but Michelle O'Neill, I'll just reveal right now that incredible handshake, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. I 1 second,
Ex-
there's a cup of tea waving outside the window. this is
Excellent.
this is tremendous. 1 second.
Oh wow, this is. You've never once gotten out of that seat in the whole year we've been recording. No.
I wouldn't mind. I was gasping. I wouldn't mind. God, that worked out very well. That worked out great.
Oh
Um,
God, I'm actually jealous.
yeah.
I'm
Well, there
jealous of
was
you.
the Lion
Yeah.
King was being read inside, and himself was demanding a second go of it because he had all sorts of questions about why. Because you got to skim through it a little bit. The book is fucking fair direct that we have actually. I was like, Jesus, they could have buttered this up a small bit for a child. It's like, well, Scar killed his brother. I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. And he went
Sure
away.
enough.
But he wanted a second go of it, and I was like, right, well, I'm starting the podcast, but I know I won't have tea. And fair play, she swung out with tea. But yes, 10 out of 10 for a handshake, like fucking threw it into me, like in a way, like fair play to you, Tom. And I'm like, you. I'm just a bloke telling jokes. Like that was a fucking great handshake. I was like, it was a fantastic interview. I said, by the way, and congratulations, First Minister. But she wasn't hanging around the green rooms, nothing. Straight out to the state car, back up the country. Busy woman.
Unreal.
Yeah, yeah.
Unreal.
10 out of 10. So I'm going to make a full list of them, of the handshakes slash hugs, and you'll be very, very interested in some. Now you go,
Great.
different
On
opinion.
on the topic of Northern Ireland, did you watch Andrew Trimble's documentary?
I haven't gotten to see it yet. Is that the one where, because I knew I was to actually have a meeting one of the nights with Barry
Oh yeah.
about
He's
a
true.
gig in Limerick that no longer exists. Um, but he was saying I've got to go up the north with Trimby. He just threw this at me the other day about going up to meet Ulsterman and Ulster Scots. And he was going, what? He
Mm.
goes, what do I say? He said, I'm never up the north. I know. I said, well, Trimby isn't. It's probably not a direct, perfect representation of what you're going to meet. I said, but I kind of gave him what I knew because I'm up there a fair bit. But I'm really interested to see it.
I saw clips of it and it sounded absolutely brilliant. So I
Yeah,
can't wait to watch that.
yeah. It was an interesting question he put to him about having his four caps for Ireland. He says, well, he says if you lined out for Ireland and it was being played in Belfast and you had to sing God Save the King, how would you feel? He went, well, fucking not
Mm.
happening. Not happening. He goes,
Mm.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Mm.
saying.
But it's this conversation is long overdue.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. It still
Mm.
perplexes me, even though I've loads of, and it's such a complex thing. And I mean, the show that was it Brian O'Driscoll made it, I think with Craig Doyle, they made it, and it was it was an interesting show. It was shoulder to shoulder, and the story of just why
Oh
they,
yes.
and it kind of does open it up a small bit as to why it became an all Ireland thing, and they just stuck with it.
Mm.
But still, you weren't getting it from like I think lads were
Well,
kind of
that's
giving
from
it,
Brian O'Driscoll. Do you know to
yeah,
hear like Trimby and you know it's long overdue. And I was always really interested. Like when I played for Ireland, I was always like, why don't we talk about this more?
yeah,
Like this is so special, what we have. Like we, you know, and I always, I, you know, I attempted to like bring it up, but it was never the right time. And there was one thing, especially when I heard that the men's team in camp had kind of they started to look into it a bit. I was like, fuck, I felt so envious because I was like, we missed that opportunity. I really thought that we'd get to do that at some stage while I was playing for Ireland, but like it was just never the right time. And then COVID happened, and then that was the end of anything. But I always wanted to. Jesus, I'd say I still have it in my drafts, and I never sent it. But I wanted to get in touch with Phil Coulter
yeah.
and ask him would he come and talk to us
But
about the task that he was set.
well, do you know
And
what? Now you won't remember me, but interestingly, I sat with him on a couch of like the 6 o'clock show, one of these things one time. Like, but
yeah,
yeah, that'd be a great. Well, do you know what? Perfect tie-in because I was about to tell you about the other person I met who had a fine handshake for a young man.
go on.
Stevie Mulroney opened the show.
Ah,
Ash, stop the lights. You never met a young fella as just walking around, walking on confidence and walking on air. This kid. But it was so funny. He was in the green room. It's a huge green room, and there's kind of sofas everywhere. And he was up there with his dad. And one of the runners, Susie, came in. She's like, she's as cool as a breeze. You'd love her. Like, she's just like, how are you, Tom? We're going to here in a minute. Might get you down to do a bit of crack with the audience. I'm like, you wouldn't think you were under any pressure at all. But she did the same. She goes, Stevie, do you want to come in for a bit of a rehearsal? This is much before, maybe about 9 o'clock, maybe even 9:15. And he goes, yeah, no problem, Susie. And she says, do you want to bring your dad with you? And Stevie went, or Stevie's dad went, do you want me to come, Stevie? He went, nah, your granddad. Stay where you are. And rocked it and walked out. And it was brilliant. They opened the show with Healy comes out, addresses the audience, has a bit of a chit chat, bit of crack, and then he says, and we have very special guests. We have, I want to talk about Stevie Mulrooney from the weekend, and the whole place went buck wild. And he says, I don't know if you know this, but I was actually his voice coach prior to that. And he says, and I know some of you don't believe me. He says, you've never heard me sing properly before. You know, look, why don't I just show you? And he takes a mic, and the mic is dead, of course, in his hand. And he goes to start singing, and it's Stevie's voice comes out, and Stevie's in the back, and he's halfway through this. You know, they open a couple of lines, and Stevie just walks out through the curtains, actually singing it. The place goes, Barnarnars. They go, banana capeless is what they go, ape shit. It was a great opener for yeah, unreal. So it was good kid, not cocky, but just he's living still with that brilliant. He's in that brilliant median of childhood where you don't you don't you've none of the outside influences have ruined your confidence yet. Do you know that kind of way? And lives with pure brilliant naivety of of course, like. Of course, sure I can sing, and
blissfully ignorant.
And the longer he can live with that, the better. Like you know, we all know that to live with that childhood. Of course, I'm going to run up the side of that mountain because I see it, and I'm going to do. You know, and he's just going. Sure, of course I can sing. Yeah, give me the mic. Stand back. Yeah, oh, it was brilliant.
I remember being selected when I was in junior infants to carry the bread up the aisle. And I remember shaking, physically trembling because I knew like all of the older kids would be watching. And it was probably the closest I've ever come to like actually shitting myself. So do you know what? Fair play to Stevie Mulrooney.
Wow. Yeah. That was I remember them days. Jesus Christ. It was yeah, I do. I was in a play once years and years ago, and it was I only think somebody sent me a picture of it the other day. They were clearing out their attic and they found it, and I have a moustache on it, and I play an oldie worldie like an 1820s or 1890s kind of shyster who marries for money, but then I ended up killing her. I'm 5, by the way. I kill her, and at the night, and I go to her grave to start roaring laughing when the night they bury her, but the grave falls over during a thunderstorm and kills me, and then I go and meet the devil. Insane. And the entire thing is being narrated by singing. We don't actually, it's non-verbal, like there's no dialogue. And the whole thing is being narrated by singing at the side. This was only brought up to me the other day. I was like, I was in that place then of, sure, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And then, you know, a year or two later, you actually become self-aware, much like the Terminator. You become self-aware, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, I can't do these things, you know. So long may it last that Stevie stays in that lovely, lovely place.
Little ledge bomb. They were talking about him in the pub here, like.
Yeah. And a fine handshake for a little man. Good handshake, direct eye contact, the whole lot.
Oh, what a little ledge bag. And like to have someone change our opinion on children singing the anthem as much as they did. I know we spoke about this last week, so I don't have to get into it, but it's just even stronger to me now, like how much he was able to, in like one breath, he was able to undo all the damage done by the children at the World Cup.
It was such a, in a way, it is such a hold my beer moment. It was like he'd been watching the World Cup.
These fucking amateurs.
Are you joking me? But it was, he gave it like this kid was like, he was going into war. He was like, I will do it for my nation. Do you know, he said that because anything my nation needs of me, I will do it. So I wasn't nervous. It's like, okay, Jesus Christ, bring out Michelle O'Neill after this. It's like, all right. And then
Yeah.
the wolf tones to close the night out. Thank you very much.
Oh, what a night.
Well, no, I that was wishful thinking. That was wishful
Oh,
thinking. It
sorry.
wasn't. It
Sorry,
wasn't.
sorry.
It was Stephen Ray to talk.
Oh, okay. Also very, very patriotic.
So
Um,
you found yourself in. Did you get to see the full Munster match?
I did, but I met a lovely couple from a lovely Irish couple who were in the Irish pub. So I actually spent a good bit of time talking to them. But which was easy after I saw how well Munster were doing. I just was kind of kept one eye on it then
Mm.
when they started to pull away. Jeez, they were brilliant.
It was kind of madness in the opening half because I was watching it in the green room. I was like, what the fuck's name is going on here? Like, but they were just
Mm,
trying everything. And
yeah,
Scarlets, to give them their due, through what they had at it, you
yeah,
knew they were coming with no game plan to counteract Munster. They were just living off what they were doing, and they had a couple of standout players. All right, that were just giving it a couple of, they were giving it socks and a couple of lapses in defense kind of concentration because it's almost like they knew. Do you know that kind of way? They just fucking knew we're gonna take these lads out to the back of the woodshed here, like so. But it
yeah,
was. It was interesting to see RG Snyman just out there trying to kill people, actually trying to cut them in half. And I
yeah.
was trying to work out in my head why. This is me now while standing in the wings while the floor manager is describing what is going to transpire throughout the night. Even though I do
Mm,
exactly that, but I do it quite funny. But anyway,
mm,
I'm sat beside going, how does he hit people so hard? Is he that heavy or is he that strong? And then I was thinking, no. He is both those things, but it's the fact that he's such a giant, tall human that your
mm,
average person would have to get in close to smash somebody, whereas he
mm.
can actually stop short and then project the rest of his body at you like a fucking
Yeah,
missile.
yeah,
The lads nearly think, oh, he's too far away to tackle me. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's 4 foot more human coming at me here.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
he cut at least 4 lads in half. But
Mm.
and then of course Banjax's his hand. I haven't seen the injury update, but he was like, yeah, Banjax's his
I
hand.
didn't hear that at all.
Oh God! And he was down for a while, and they were looking at the hand, and they were trying. But you could see him going, just fucking tape it, just fucking tape it. He was not going off. He eventually went off, but I think it was to get a stitches in the head because he came back on for Finian Wycherley. And even I was tweeting us, I don't care what's going on with that hand. If you got to sellotape mannequin fingers, just fucking get him back on the pitch because he's
Yeah,
out there just busting people, enjoying himself, doing what he's
yeah,
supposed to be doing. But I haven't heard anything injury wise, but it was just incredible to watch this
yeah.
this fucking Goliath just smashing people. Um,
Ugh.
and then, of course, today, for anybody wondering, because people have asked me who's Anna going to be next week. Who tonight, Anna? Who are you going to be? Well, tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be Gavin Coombs. 44 tries. Was it 42 tries and 88 appearances? Are you effing joking me?
Ridiculous.
Wh-
It,
What?
it's funny because a lot of the arguments, and I'm like, how can't he get into the Irish squad? It's like
Halen
the
Doris
Irish,
is kind of there, and Jack Conan is kind of there
yeah,
too.
just the quality is so good. You don't need to worry about it. Like he's so good that when and if a door opens up, fucking hell, he'll be ready to go. Don't worry. Like we just need to enjoy the fact that he's still with Munster for now.
Yeah, yeah.
His time will come, and he's fucking
I
yeah.
mean, dynamic around the field, like you don't see him do the Caelan Doris stuff, but yet you've never seen anybody rack tries up from 5 meters out like that kid can do it. Like he's
Mm,
so strong. It's
mm,
not even like his last push, the core he must have, where they stop him once. You're like, well, that's it. Oh no, no, he's dug his 2 front studs in and he's gone again.
mm.
And you just see humans sliding backwards. But he also, I
Yeah,
suppose, in that first stop, and he's still kind of in I suppose he's in a truck and trailer, enough of a position where lads go, oh, I have a split second to join him here, and that last shove, because of course you want to latch onto the back of old Big Gav, do you know?
yeah, yeah. But if someone has a superpower like that, then there's no ambiguity around what the fuck's happening when you get in there. It's like,
Yeah,
right, okay, yeah, we know the plan, yeah.
it must be vexing if you're playing against it. You're like,
Yeah,
for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah, yeah.
Not this guy. Not this dude.
Oh, I know. I was thinking of, do you know what do you do? Do you just keep going, or do you eventually kind of make it look like you're trying to, even though you're not? I have to say, I felt like that watching La Rochelle at the weekend. Do you see Rogers' reaction to?
I did not. I saw the score line and I said, because you went down to, who did you go down to again? You lost
They were
to
in Leon.
Leon. That's it. Um,
Who are, well, I mean, La Rochelle, they're not in great shapes anyway in the league. Like they're just struggling. But there was a mall defense at one stage, and I was like, they're just making it look like they're trying to defend the mall.
yeah.
I was mad. I was annoyed. I was like, oh, it's just not the same quality what they were producing last year. Fine, you can't, whatever. Things change, and you just have to manage it. But Raj was very unhappy. Like, I actually, it's today Monday. Yeah, it was today. I was inside, and I was like, kept the head down, and I was like, I don't want to bump into anyone here now today because I feel
Oh, it's a
like
spiky enough affair around the place, is it?
yeah, because he said, Raj said in the post match interview, he felt in training that people were more interested in real estate prices on Ile de Ré than actually training.
He said that in the post match. Oh
About
my
players, yeah.
jeez. And he doesn't like that wasn't by accident. He said that, like, or maybe it was, but he does live. He lives
I
on
don't. He
his heart
doesn't
is
do
on
much
his
by
sleeve, like.
accident.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but
I actually, I'm kind of like, in many ways, fucking fair play for fucking saying it. But then you're going into work on the Monday and sitting down, and they're all sitting down looking at you, and like you have to be 100% sure that that's actually what happened.
yeah,
You can't lose your players like that. You have to have to say something like that. The reaction will have to be, from the larger players. Yes, you're right, and we need to fucking change it. That's a big
yeah,
first.
that's it. Like, because I mean, it's not like you're talking to a bunch of kids. It's a bunch of grown ass men who have high quality and big agents and fucking stuff like that. And let's be honest, there's going to be egos in the room too, going, what the fuck?
Yeah, how do you
Hey,
manage it? Like,
hey, get back onto wrestling. Get fucking back onto him. I'm not putting up with this
Mm,
shit. Do you know?
yeah.
It's a bit of a fucking slap in the face. Yeah, that's an embarrassing thing to say. If
Oof.
you know,
We'll see now. They're away again this weekend. Um, but just top 14 in general, just I fucking love it. I
it's
love.
wild. It's the Wild West.
Mm,
Like you've no idea what's happening. That's
yeah.
I always find it interesting when the French teams enter the Champions Cup because there's always like, well, it's they're Toulouse, and you're like, yeah, but have you watched the top 14? It's any given Sunday shit. Any given
Mm,
Sunday somebody could fucking lose. So
yeah.
you never know. You're gonna get class, but you never know what's gonna happen. It's fucking hell. But speaking of never knowing what's gonna happen, Ulster thought they had Ospreys beaten in the death. They were 17-16 up. I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't.
Snatch, drop goal. Bang. Over. Yeah. Ospreys take it. 1917. Scandalous. Scandalous, like. I mean, Stephen Kitchoff has to be wondering what the fuck he signed up for. But, I mean, he signed up for a big, probably about 300,000 or 400,000 horses inside the bag.
Mm,
But
mm.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph, like, I'm not saying. Well, the numbers are this. Leinster, um, well, no, Leinster destroyed Benetton, but Connacht beat Cardiff, and Cardiff have always been strong, 16-12. Munster absolutely routed the Scarlets, was a 42-7, and then Ulster are fuck acting around with Ospreys, like
Sigh.
what few Ospreys would be left, and not with the national team, should not be beating Ulster, because Ulster they didn't get exactly pilfered for the Irish team, like they didn't lose a lot. You
Mm,
know what I mean? You got to be burying them, like. Um, so then
shite.
Dan McFarlane is under serious pressure war. Because they're not blowing hot and cold. They're just blowing straight fucking cold this season. There's no sparks
But
of fun of any excitement. There's a few kind of green shoots who are like, but we're talking in the middle of a game. You go, oh, that was good. Fuck. And again, I've seen him like some of the mauling as you talk about La Rochelle's just a great word that I love, and I love using it even when people don't understand it, is Moriah. I love the word Maria because it's just a fake version of whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? Era. Do you know, I was gonna wave my hands, Maria, that I was interested in the fucking making a bid, but I wasn't at all. And that's kind of what Ulster seemed to be doing with them all. They were like, era. They were throwing their arses in again it and hoping for the fucking best. Like, this isn't good enough, like. It's just not fucking good enough.
Mm,
There's big money
shite.
being paid around that squad. Osprey sure as shit couldn't afford Stephen Kitchoff. Do you know? Ian Henderson. Do you know, they wouldn't be able to afford these lads. Yet,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, every dog has a day and everything else, but you should really be burying them, like.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought Ospreys were doing well this season.
They are, but they're doing all right. Like, but at the same time, you still got to be finding a way to beat them. Like, you can't be losing in the death with a drop goal. You can't. Like,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Not unless you're talking about the top. It it wasn't even that great of a drop goal. It was
Mm,
lads were slow off the mark to charge it down. I know it's 81
mm,
minutes in, but fuck that. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
kill yourself to get to it. Like, you know, this is
Mm,
it's
right.
yeah,
Part of the game.
yeah, it's not looking good for Dan McFarland. He'd see out the season all right, but Jesus Christ, I don't know if I don't want to change codes to get off this. Obviously, Connacht, I just said it there, won 16-12. Didn't see any of it. Leinster beat the living shit out of Benetton. Um, but I don't know if you've seen it. I don't want to get drawn over, but the NRL is looking outrageous. The fucking footage they're putting up. Rugby Union needs to get after it and get whoever is making their promo footage. They're Oh my Jesus Christ! Like there's a team in it now in the league called the Indigenous. They call them Indigenous New Zealand team. There's literally
Okay.
that's what they've been describing them as. They must have a better name than that. Like I'm pretty sure they do. They're Haka. They're Haka. I'm sorry, New Zealand All Blacks. Yeah, you need to have a look. These lads have weapons and everything. Anna. They fucking weapons out in the field. One lad has his face
Hmm.
painted with stripes of white on it, like he's one of the orcs out of fucking Lord of the Rings. I wouldn't like you'd go just to watch this. It's one of the most incredible pieces of performing art before a sporting thing that had say the Super Bowl has nothing on it. These lads have fucking spears. They've clacky yokes. They're it's fucking choreographed at different
Yeah,
times. Lads are doing different things. It's
yeah,
just, but the footage around it is just so. Like I talked about, like Russell Crowe doing the descriptions of it, the
yeah,
guide, the how to rugby league, which there isn't fucking much to be describing. You know,
yeah,
five tackles and you give the ball away.
yeah.
But by Jesus Christ,
But that's just pure typical fucking uh rugby union being like, oh no,
he head
you
down now and
know,
hope for the best. Yeah,
traditional, no, 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 like just fucking dinosaur run, fucking. I don't know. Yeah, I think rugby's hit. I know it's obvious that rugby in a lot of places is in a bit of a crisis, especially with like the folding of like teams and just like lawsuits for like brain injuries and stuff
mm.
like that. But genuinely, genuinely, they need to seriously consider what the worst that the worst could happen.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I talked about this maybe 5 years ago to Bernard Jackman, and I was on my podcast, and I said it's too good to leave. There's so much content and meat on the bone being left there. Why aren't we putting amazing footage? Every kid nowadays has a fucking camera as a videographer. Why isn't?
exactly,
But
yeah.
you know what I mean. And now rugby league, you could see if I was a professional 12, 13, even a 14 in Australia right now, I'd be looking at playing union for somebody like the Brummies or something like that. I go,
But even
I
not
want to play fucking rugby league. It looks cool as shit.
but, like, playing is one thing, but, like, in Australia is such an interesting example of sport in general, but, like, when I lived down there, we were there during, like, the State of Origin
Mm,
series. Like, we used to just kinda go along just because s everybody watched it,
yeah.
everybody, and, like,
It was like the Eurovision in the 90s here.
yeah, but like 90% of people like haven't even gone onto a pitch ever. So that's a good thing. Like that's what you
Yeah,
need. Those people are keeping the sport going for, the young player who wants to go pro. It's thanks to the fuckers who are like genuinely like we used to take the piss out of them. It's all these fucking like bogans with like curly hair and like the backwards hat and
yeah.
like all had the jerseys, so like they're all like, they're fucking paying money for much in their merchandise, just roaring at the telly like, "You useless fucking cunt!" Like
We'd like to get that
no
verified by any
mercy shown.
Australian listeners that that's exactly how they sound.
Yeah, yeah, but like, they're so hypercritical and they've definitely
Not
never
at
touched a
all.
ball. That's the price you pay. They're very much open to a lot of criticism, but there's no danger of their sport fucking going under
Not a
because
fit.
everyone just adores it.
Not a fit. It's I don't I just be very interested. I mean, we'll talk. Um, I mean, we obviously have the Lion series and stuff coming up. Quick question, right? I put this lad the other day and it perplexed him. Right now, this minute, if you toilet's about to burst, back could be healed if you got the answer right.
Hmm.
Who would be your Lions captain now, this minute? You stitching the jerseys. It's got to be done this minute now on February, what it be, 19th or 20th. Got to be done. Who's your
I
Lions
mean,
captain?
you're asking me like whenever you ask me these questions, I cannot produce an answer.
You have to.
Uh,
You have to. The jerseys are being stitched.
give
Nora's
me
going to go fucking mad.
give me options. Who's
Your options
who's
are
current,
Finn
who's
Russell,
current who are the current captains of the home nations?
Finn Russell, Peter O'Mahony, um, Jamie George, that young chap. He's only 22 for Wales.
Who's that?
Oh Jesus, I
Well,
forget his name.
it wouldn't be him
Not a
anyway.
fit. Not a hope.
Um,
So you've Finn Russell, Peter O'Mahony, or Jamie George.
don't think I don't think Peter O'Mahony would be a starting player for the series.
Mm.
So don't think he'd pick him. He'd either pick a different Irish player or Jamie George.
Jamie George isn't starting ahead of Dan Sheehan. Not a prayer. Surely not. Surely not. Dan Sheehan.
Yeah, but I fucking know. Jesus, he's unbelievable. Like, but Jamie George playing alongside quality
Yeah,
Irish
Porter.
players
Yeah, Porter and Furlong or something. Yeah, yeah,
will
yeah.
definitely buoy his chances.
Or
Uh,
or enough time in the saddle might be created over the summer. I wonder. And Caelan Doris just go in as a fucking a bolter. I
when you
know
said it,
this is way sorry now for anybody going, Ara, for fuck's sake, Tom, we haven't got through the Six Nations yet. There was no games last weekend. Myself and Anna are trying to talk interesting rugby shit here. And this was a question that popped into my head that I needed to say out in my face, or it might fall through the annals of time. So what do you reckon?
but hang on, the Lions tour is next summer.
Yeah, I know, but
Jeez. They're
Jesus,
not stitching the jerseys for another 15 months.
I'm okay. This was hypothetical. You don't have to be such a
No, no, no. I said
pedantic
no. I know.
Patricia.
I
Excellent.
but
I
I
think
feel
you'll
like
find if I look up Google here, Tom, I think you'll
you'll
find that
find.
the Lions series doesn't begin. They picked the fucking manager
But
already, the manager already. So
I feel
there's
like
hope.
what you're yes, but I feel like what you're trying to allude to is what Andy Farrell is up to is grooming Doris for the position.
He could
Is that
dovetail
what
him
you're
in
trying
nicely,
to say?
couldn't he, over the time? And it'd be like, do you know, it'd be like Mufasa handing over the fucking kingdom to Simba. It's just, I mean, hopefully that there isn't a Uncle Scar going to fucking scare poor old Caelan off into the fucking
Who could
into
that
the
be?
Shadowlands.
Who could that be? Joe
Um,
Marler.
that fucking no, somebody properly scary would share it. Somebody like Courtney Law's coming back because that fucker's
Yeah,
tearing up trees playing in the Premiership right now. Now
yeah.
that's a serious operate. But anyway, I'd be digressing. I do be digressing. We have France Italy on the Sunday. We have Scotland England on the Saturday, and the first game up for the weekend is Ireland Wales. Thank fuck it's on early because for two reasons: one, I get to see the match, but also we have two Deirdre O'Kane shows at the Hill Comedy Club this weekend, starting at 5:30. So thank Jesus.
Excellent timing
Yeah,
by Deirdre.
fair play, fair play, Deirdre. She wouldn't miss a match. She wouldn't.
Well, would it be on in the pub?
Oh, it's a big sports bar. Like the room you were in, the entire back wall, if you look down, that
Mm.
drops down into a
Is a
rugby
screen.
screen. It is a rugby screen. They care not that or the horse racing, but really it's rugby. Yeah. So yes, it would have put a fly in the ointment had Ireland been a fucking 7 o'clock on a
Oh,
Saturday.
right.
But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
no, we're not.
Anyway, it's only Ireland Wales.
It looks like Hugo Keenan isn't going to make it back. That's the most interesting one for me. It's like
But he isn't.
he isn't. He is not.
Yeah.
They're not going to risk him for a biscuit.
Probably no harm.
No harm
Give
is
him-
right. 38 starts out of 44 under 44 games
Yeah.
under fucking Andy Farrell.
I know, and he just skipping around as if like la 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 la.
La, la,
He's
la,
some
la.
serious fucking
Did you
mileage stamina.
Did you know, or I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but I overheard on another podcast that he is officially the fittest pro rugby player in the world.
You told us this last
Yeah.
week.
I'm still
Yeah.
reeling from that.
Yeah.
Nobody said this. Like, this is a thing that's only just, I'd have that tattooed on my neck going, are you,
Sure, he doesn't care.
He doesn't, but other people. This is what I'm saying. Rugby. It took a fella, James Tracy, a retired rugby player, to say it on morning fucking radio on Off the Ball, which is great. Only it's gone behind the paywall now, but it's still great for tidbits. But it took him to fucking say it out the side of his mouth. Why in fuck's name isn't there like? Damn
No,
near
you're
a-
actually
do you
you're
know?
actually right. Because the thing about Bowden Barrett's Bronco was very talked about at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
People are still talking about that. So, but it's interesting that World Rugby aren't on that, and Rugby Pass TV haven't kind of got him to
Because
do one of
Rugby Pass TV aren't being let near the Irish scene. Apparently,
Mhm.
they didn't get into the dressing rooms from the Netflix thing. They didn't get no. Look, you can argue and go, okay, well, whatever you're doing is working, so fucking all right, maybe. But like, rather than having the lads on the side of a fucking milk carton, selling fucking milk, could we not have something like? Also, by the same token, Ireland, yes, they lost at the World Cup, but they went 17 games unbeaten. Like, why isn't there, these, do it
Yeah, yeah.
gladiator style, like, and I'm not talking gladiator like Russell Crowe, I'm talking gladiators from the 90s. Big boom boom,
Yeah.
make it fucking hype, big it up. Maybe you
Mm.
won't have half the fucking Aviva inside in the bar during the fucking Italian match. Do you know, like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is,
No, agree. I agree. I agree.
it's a little bit that could have been made very cool. So Ireland, that'd be the only one. I don't know who, Kieran Frawley went back to Leinster at the weekend.
Oh yeah.
Maybe to just get some game time, he'd be grand, I suppose, after baiting the bollocks off of Benetton. But he'd be the starter. What do you reckon? Because people were going, oh, maybe James Lowe will go back there to start a fullback. I can't see that.
I don't see why you wouldn't put James Lowe in there, kind of, especially against Wales. Like, I feel like it'd be not a bad match to kind of shake things up a small bit and see, because he's been fucking.
Who goes on the wing? Who goes on the wing then?
Who do we have?
Stockdale.
there's-
Stockhorse.
No, there's someone else. There has to be someone else. Who's covering back three in the squad anyway?
Kieran Frawley. He was covering centre, out half, and fullback.
He wasn't the only one. Surely there's someone else. Where's my list?
Where's your list? Get up your list.
My list of players over here now.
You have it.
Ow.
Oh, that, if for anybody wondering, that's the sound of Anna walking away. She literally only walked to the other side of the room. Ah, Jesus. Fuck it.
Jordan Larmour,
Okay, but he's not going to fullback, not a fit.
but he can go on the wing.
I suppose he can go on the wing. He can go on the wing. Is he all right at number 11? Not everybody can switch handy on sides.
Sure, they can. They can. They're just like.
They can, of course. Yeah. They
2
can.
weeks now. To get on with it.
Yeah. Don't be fucking looking at it. They
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably an interesting one to start him anyway. But to start Hugo Keenan against fucking Italy, I don't fucking know why they did that. But and
Yeah.
we as we record, we're too early to know the teams, which I kind of like in one way. Sometimes it's just kind of guessing, going, I wonder. But it would seem Mac Hansen is back training as I'm. They put up great content. Or again, Connacht are actually great for their content. They
Yeah.
do just do fun things with the team on a daily basis. They have somebody on media all the time, and they just meet the players walking in off the pitch after the training pitch, and they'll go karaoke song, and the lads will go brown eyed girl and just walk past, and or
Yeah,
they'll
I
all
love
have
that.
something, or they'll pick
Yeah.
a name for a hat and give me a bit of info on him, and it'd be scrummaging away. Dennis Buckley farts in his sleep, walks away. It's just
Yeah.
these things. It's great. So
Yeah, I love those things, yeah. But that's
fair-
all, like every club, country, union who has someone, at least one, if not multiple people working for their social media content. So all
mm,
it comes down to is how creative that person
creative.
is alongside, does it get approved or not?
Yes. Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Irish stuff is more sensitive than anything else, but like, yeah, just that's how creative the Connacht person is, and brave and ballsy, and is feels like they're given that kind of license to do that. So,
Because
um,
I don't know if you've been following it. Finley Bealham has definitely taken up the fun mantle at in the Irish camp up from. In fairness, he looks like a bit of crack with the cornrows and everything, but he's taken it from Mac Hansen. That
yeah,
and he's doing the kind of what in a much more lovable and less forced, awkward way. He as I know your man, what's his name, Haskell, used to try and do it with Owen Farrell on tour and stuff. He's
oh
like, "You're my
yeah,
best friend," and Haskell genuinely, or Farrell just thought, "What the fuck?" He knew he was worn out from this shit, and he
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
have comedy in him. This man was a super athlete, and he kept
yeah.
on pushing it and pushing, and it just got weird and awkward, and like a posh English fella was trying it, but Finlay Bealham just he genuinely it's so lovable, like trying to hold hands with Peter O'Mahony. Like, I mean, and
Love.
O'Mahony's just made of barbed wire and
Would you
diesel.
go away?
Go, Julia.
Stop! Would you go away? I love that. So
Yeah.
funny. It actually, but more and more, Peter O'Mahony reminds me of Ciara Griffin, and like
Was
he'd
she
be doing
tough
that.
like that?
She'd be like, "Would you stop? Wait!" You'd be winding her up like, and she like, yeah, they remind me of each other. Ciara Griffin, Peter O'Mahony, like both captains, both like pure farming heads on them.
I
Uh,
suppose it's what it's probably what makes a really good captain is somebody who's just in the zone all the time and then just you completely throw them off their kilter when you go,
yeah,
hey, can we hold hands? Like, Jesus Christ, there's cameras here. I
yeah.
love
She'd be like, I'd say this is probably what Peter Manning probably get to eventually, but like Kira, it's weird calling her Kira because everyone calls her Junior.
Junior, yeah.
Be like, Anna was like her catchphrase when I'd be up to something. Like the amount of times I just hear Anna, she'd be giving out to me. So
Like a
Peter Manning
Montour.
probably the same. Whatever they call Finley Bealham, they hardly do they call him Finley. Like surely he has a
He
nickname.
must have a nickname. He must have
Oh,
a nickname. Um,
yeah,
geez, he
Finley
must.
too difficult to say in a rugby circle.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to find out what his nickname is, and if he does not have a known nickname, well,
Probably
then
Bealham.
we should definitely create something more interesting than that.
Well, we could create something more interesting, but that's probably what they call him, Beals.
No, no good. That's no good. No good at all, at all. When I hear this, I'm just gonna shorten your name and put an S on the end of it. Not the hope. No,
Yeah,
no,
but
no, no.
that's a rugby thing. That's a
I know
fucking
it is.
rugby.
It's a sporting thing. It was like, let's put no fucking imagination into this scenario whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? No, 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 no,
Thing.
no. We're creative people. We'll create one, and yeah, we'll put it out there into the zeitgeist, and it will be taken up. I guarantee you. You'd be surprised the stuff that does get taken up. Um, a load of lads now can't shake their nicknames. That who we should have on actually is um from Three Red Kings. We should have him on.
Oh
Tom
yeah.
Savage, because his
Right.
nicknames, because he's built the
See,
whole thing almost around the 90s wrestling when he watches Munster. He's kind of an
yeah, yeah.
associative Munster thing. So he's like Tom Hearn is known as the Slim Reaper. And now people like the War God, that Peter O'Mahony, he developed T-shirts and everything like of the War God. Praise be the War God. And like the people
People-
bring it to Ireland matches now. Big banners go, "Praise be the
Oh,
War God," and you can see O'Mahony seeing it, kind of going, "Yeah." I mean, you'd be okay with that though, wouldn't you? Be like, "I'm War God." Yeah, I'm all right with that. Craig Casey is the Scrum Goblin.
pretending to be pissed off, like,
Yeah,
go
of
away.
course. Go away. But he would love it secretly. Craig Casey, I think, is Rook Goblin, which is which is
That's brilliant.
it's brilliant. It's
So
perfect.
I
So
love it.
I think we can trust ourselves to be a bit more creative on it. Anyway, we're not going to make predictions on the games because I've developed an idea, Anna, that you don't fucking want to do it. And you know what? I take no pleasure in even asking you. I'm just trying to do what everybody else does. And we talked about it last week that we shouldn't be doing what everybody else does. And you go, lads, what will be will be. But Ireland are the greatest team ever.
Ras, ras. This is
Um,
it. So how when you wish someone a good weekend of rugby, I feel like we should come up with a saying for like wishing someone a good weekend of rugby. Like, here in France,
oh,
if you meet someone around 1 o'clock, you'll just say bon appetit. Same in like in Spain and stuff, like or sorry, Germany, they'd say Mahlzeit is how they say hello to each other around 1 o'clock. And so if you walk in and I'm eating, they'll say, oh, bon appetit. Or if you're about to start eating, I would say bon appetit.
well, I like
So I
that now.
feel like we should come up with a saying
Yes, yeah.
when you're saying goodbye to someone, or even when you say hello to someone, or you're like,
Who's
you
about
know,
to or is enjoying or has
we're
enjoyed the
about to
rugby.
embark on a weekend of rugby.
Oh
And then
Jesus, that's tremendous.
they're good at it here as well in France. They'd say bon match, like before the match.
Yeah.
Bon match. It's like enjoy the match, but like something like akin to bon appetit.
Yeah, like people shout things at me all the time in the way of on tip every time they hear him from tip. And it's not it's like the expression is to be go on Tipperary in a supportive way
Yes.
of, but what it gets spelt phonetically to Hon, Hon, Teep, Teep,
Sure I know it. Sure I know it well. Hand tip. Yeah.
Hon Tip, and it's just no, and it's in the zeitgeist now. It's completely accepted to just
It's
go
like
Hon.
it's like us saying Han Bowes.
Yeah,
We'd say
Han
Han
Bowes.
Bowes.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, we need
yes,
we'll think of
yes.
that. And then we start saying it like as a sign off, as in like, enjoy
Oh,
the
this
rugby.
very, very unique. I can see that. I can see it merch and everything coming out as a result of this. Yeah, there's a few, like I'm not. Yeah, let's not spitball here. Let's be back and forth with it.
Mm.
You being good with English and many languages. You can keep me between the ditches of profanity and whatnot and shit I'll come out with like
I sent
so.
you a few voice notes. I sent you no
Yes,
voice notes this week.
nothing. I was like, Jesus. I was worried. It's
I
fucking
should
hell.
have sent you one when I was curled up like a fucking turtle on the floor of the gym. Rolling on my back.
You should just taken a picture and just put that voice note. You know that it was at that moment I knew that I'd fucked up.
Yeah.
Right, look, we're going to go in and enjoy we are going to enjoy the rugby, and by next week we will have a fucking phrase that absolutely synopsizes. Oh my God, my brain has stopped working at this hour of the evening. It fucking means that. God,
Yes.
God, I'm
Up the
such a
Ruggers.
No, I swear to God, we'll get messages over this, and if one of you comes up with the up the ruggers, we may have to ban you. That's no,
We'll cancel the podcast.
that's it. It's done. Up the ruggers is not happening. For now, anyway. Mind your back. I'd love to give you some of this Voltarol that I have.
I have some French stuff there. I have
Le-
Voltaron.
I knew, I knew it. I knew it. Right, tremendous. And I'll see you next week. Keep the voice notes coming. And notes from the game obviously will happen over the weekend. But yeah, we have to come out with this phrase. That's a great
I'll be
idea.
in London. Pissed in the sun in.
Nice. That's lovely. Bit of
Yeah.
London.
In it, bruv.
Lovely. Yeah. Oh yes, you're going to see the Book of Mormon. Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes.
Brilliant. Enjoy it.
Great.
Feel free to drop me a message if there's other shows you want to go to, because a friend of mine, Haley Joe, can kind of get cheaper tickets, performers tickets into some other shows.
Unbelievable.
Right.
Absolutely.
Ihawa.
Okay. Ihawa. Torara.
The Banana and Bears Rugby Pod.